The Colasante Clinic on June 16th, 2011?
Yes, I was.
What is your position at the clinic?
I'm the bookkeeper.
Okay. And what were you doing on the morning of the raid?
Well, on the morning of the raid, when I arrived, there were police, type policemen, Gainesville Police, Alachua County Police, in the parking lot. And so my first thought was that someone had broken into the medical center.
Right.
And so the Gainesville Police Department, they were blocking the drive, and so I was very much concerned. So
Absolutely.
I rolled down my window, and the police officer stopped me, who was overseeing the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
I told him I was an employee.
Mm-hmm.
Could I please enter my workplace?
Right.
And they said, oh yes, and they directed me to a parking spot. And at that point, I got out of my car and walked into the medical center because I was very concerned that we had been broken into. Well, when I walked in, I saw a lot of people who looked like they were in charge. They were toting guns, and I just couldn't believe that something, all I could think of was that someone had broken into our medical center, taken medical records or other things of value, and then I was quickly ushered into the lobby area.
So you were being detained?
Yes,
Wow.
and I was told to have a seat and not to talk to anyone. And then an officer or someone with a gun on their hip came around and said, we need to have your identification.
Okay.
Well, I don't bring my wallet or purse or
Right.
anything into the building, so I told him that my identification was in the trunk of my car and I would have to go get it. So I was escorted out to my car and opened the trunk and got my driver's license out and brought it into the medical center. And at that point, we were all being told to not to speak to one another, and that eventually we were going to be interviewed. But I was very shocked because I've never been in a situation where there were so many people with guns. I mean, it just, in my innocent
intimidating.
It was, and I'm like, my environment is an innocent environment, so I couldn't kind of fathom what was happening to us. And I think all of our employees were kind of like, what's going on?
I mean, do you know of any specific reason why the FBI raided the clinic?
No, I just, from hearsay, I mean, I know that there were a lot of issues when Hawthorne Medical Center was sold.
Right.
And so, in my eyes, it probably all went back to that situation. But the specifics of it, I don't really have any knowledge of what was really happening or what would have caused all those types of officers to come into our building and do what they did that day.
So as far as you're aware, there's no wrongdoings or crimes committed against the government as far as fraud or anything like that at either of the clinics?
I have no knowledge of that.
Interesting. All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.